When the goal went in Saskatoon, obviously the celebration went off, but for the staff members, how quickly did your job for 2011 start?
Well, it, it starts right away.
When Team USA sang the national anthem in Saskatoon, it was the culmination of an effort that went beyond the 2010 tournament. As the players sang their hearts out, USA Hockey staff was already beginning to think about the 2011 team.
You enjoy it for there, and obviously you start looking at which guys are eligible to come back and then what the player pool is, which we really have a pretty good grasp on from a year-long basis. So when that tournament ends, we spend the rest of the year really evaluating players for invitation to the camp in August and Lake Placid.
USA Hockey staff work year-round to prepare for the World Junior Championship, focusing on everything from scouting players to hotel accommodations. That work increases this year with Team USA hosting the event in Buffalo, New York.
I think it all starts in our evaluation that goes on throughout the season. I think it really starts right after the championship from the previous year to kind of assess how the team did, strengths and weaknesses and areas that we felt were either keys to success or reasons that we need to find different elements for the tournament, whether that's personnel or the type of way that our team played.
Similar to Jim Johansson and Tim Taylor, this tournament and prospects are always on our radar screen. And the tournament ends, and then we turn the page and start looking towards the next year.
It's a long commitment, but it's also something that I'm really excited about. Coach Taylor talked to me in April. We sat down and met, and then we went through the roster, and then we had a number of phone conversations, he, I, JJ, talking about players who should be invited to this camp. We've been up here for 10 days, got to know the guys on a daily since the beginning. And fortunately for me, most of the legwork is going to be done by Timmy and Jim Johansson because they're going to be watching players all through the fall. And then we'll get together right around December 15th.
You know, it fluctuates. I mean, I think the bottom line, you just stay on top of the personnel as best you can. In the evaluation, I work obviously close with Tim Taylor on putting this team together and the players for the camp. I think step one for us after the tournament is identifying a coach and figuring out who's going to be behind the bench with the players, and then starting to assess the talent that we assemble for the camp here. From a time standpoint, it really picks up in the fall. The October and November, virtually every weekend is out watching players to evaluate them for this team.
Is there a difference in how you approach a tournament when we're hosting?
There's just more work. I mean, there's more work in working with the local organizers and a lot more communication with what will be our opponents, just in making sure that all the arrangements are in place for them and coordinating things like pre-camps and everything that goes into those teams getting ready for the championship.
To field the best possible team, USA Hockey staff travel the country to evaluate talent. Head coach Keith Allain, who also coaches at Yale University, relies on these scouting reports to learn about his potential Team USA players.
I mean, I just don't have that much free time during the hockey season. Coach Taylor and I will run up on the East Coast. Guys on the East Coast will get to see games. I mean, I couldn't give you the exact number. We might see 8, 10 games throughout the fall. But not as much as I'd like, but I have a day job.
I'd probably see a minimum of 3 games a week. And it goes in spurts. Sometimes I'll be on the road for 2 or 3 weeks, going from game to game. And what I'll do when we break camp in the summer, I'll look at the upcoming college schedule, the upcoming junior schedules, and find out how best to piece together a travel schedule that makes logistical sense.
Travel the country we know that where the candidates are, and I make sure that we see them live and in person, just to get a true feel for where their game is. And we also have the opportunity to work with them at the World Junior Goaltending Camp. And I think that's a good asset of ours, that we're able to really break down each goaltender's game and get a real handle on their strengths and weaknesses.
USA Hockey staff track the players year-round to evaluate changes in skill level, which can change rapidly over the course of a year, especially with goaltenders.
Big changes happen physically during those months because it's a big focus on off-ice conditioning, and I think you can see the small changes on habits or problems that they had in the game from the previous year. They put the work in during the summer, correct those, and make those weaknesses a strength. And whenever you see that, that's a good sign, because that shows that the goaltender's put the work in, number one, but also has the ability to continue to develop and grow.
The work ramps up in the summer at the Junior Evaluation Camp, where staff and players meet in Lake Placid, New York. This camp is the first huge step on the way to one of the greatest hockey tournaments in the world.
The first step for our players. I mean, it's a great accomplishment for them to get here. This camp models the tournament to a degree. We actually condense it. We play 7 games in 9 days at this camp. The tournament, you can play 7 games in 11 nights. So from a level of play and keeping their play up and how they hold up physically throughout this is one part of our evaluation. And we bring in opponents that will be similar to opponents at the tournament.